The 1998 NHRA Winston drag racing season has been filled with fortune for some and misfortune for others. Rookies challenging veterans competing for the same goal, to lay claim to the prestigious title of Winston Champion. 9 different funny car winners, 6 in Top Fuel and 8 in Pro Stock. We witnessed unparalleled domination in the Pro Stock bike category and watched the growth and development of Pro Stock trucks. With 3 of the 5 Winston championships still up for grabs in the finals, the points battles have been nothing short of sensational. We're here at the final stop of the 22-race, $30 million Winston Drag Racing Series, home of the first and last race of the year, the super quick Pomona Raceway, where record-setting runs are not only hoped for, they are expected.
Three out of 5 champions still to be determined, but not a lot of suspense, to be honest with you. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Pomona, California, home of the 34th annual Winston Finals. I'm Bob Fry, and we've got a special 2-hour show for you on TNN Motorsports here this morning. We got a little half-hour pregame, and then we're going to give you, hopefully, all of round number 1 of competition, and we'll come back later on this afternoon to wrap it all up with an hour of the finals. From the finals. Now, what's up for grabs here today besides those 3 championships? Cash, and a lot of it. If you add up the contingencies, the cash awards, a total purse of almost $1.75 million. $2 million almost, if you want to throw in all the little goodies and the bonuses. And we got a chance for some bonus bucks to be paid out to the winner of yesterday's Big Bud Shootout. We'll tell you about that here in just a little bit. Now, Top Fuel was not technically decided till we got here to this race. When Gary Scelzi showed up, he won it. And to nobody's surprise, he did show up. Corey Mack finished his second for the 4th time. Amato fell short in his bid for Winston title number 6. Mike Dunn and Kenny Bernstein also had very good seasons on the Winston Drag Racing Trail. Congrats to the rest of our top 10 finalists. And Bruce Sarver from Bakersfield makes in the top 10. What a wonderful job. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from qualifying here over the last couple of days. Bobby Baldwin, son-in-law of Chris the Greek Karmasinas in the near lane, Shelly Anderson. Losing the sponsorship at the end of this year, still up in the air. This is not the way they wanted to make the highlight film. They both blow them up at the same time. Watch this again on board with Shelly Anderson, and you don't think this will get your attention. Wow, that has really got to hurt. We hope Shelly rebounds all right.
I kept my foot in it this run hoping, and it blew up. The motor got too high, but I'd lifted the last run, and, we just was hoping that this run would be a little better. We gave it a little more clutch, and we're sorry for our sponsors. We definitely didn't want to end a year like this, or maybe, my driving career, that's for sure.
Hopefully the Andersons get some funding and come back in both Top Fuel and Funny Car next year. Joe Amato, the Tenneco Automotive Machine on the far side. Mike Dunn, Team Mopar for Darrell Gwynn in the near lane. 4 finals, 4 times beaten by Gary Scelzi. Look at this. Great running under the lights. Joe Amato, number 2 for the 2nd race in a row. He is running very well.
This thing has to throw you a crumb once in a while. We've been struggling, but we made a lot of changes looking forward to next year, and I'm real excited. At least we finished off the qualifying with a great run of 55.
Amato, your defending Winston Finals champ. Here's the guy that won the Big Bud Shootout last year. And the guy that was in the finals this year. That's Scelzi and Eddie Hill, respectively. Team Winston car has been certifiably hot. Look at this. High beams on. Scelzi, number 1 for 5th time in the last 6 races. Steve Evans is with the champ.
I'm standing right in the middle of the racetrack on which Gary Scelzi grenaded both ends of the track record. And once that happened, the party began for Team Winston. And here's Gary now with the champion's kit, the champagne, the check, and Miss Winston Jackie Beck. That was fun with the cake and all.
It was a lot of fun. I just now got all the rest of it out of my throat, Steve, and off my uniform.
Anytime you're the guest of honor and a cake's involved, this is going to happen.
They baited me pretty good. They said they were going to do a crew guy, and that's how smart I am.
Well, you were happy then, but not so happy yesterday when that car stumbled a bit in the Big Bud Shootout.
Well, you know what? Things happen. There was a little bit of a bald spot, and the car was hopped up pretty good, and it just didn't make it over it. But, hey, it's been a great year, and the overall picture's been wonderful.
Well, I love a parade, so let's roll this Pontiac in front of the crowd here at Pomona with Gary Scelzi, a Winston champion again. Bob Fry, what's the ladder look like for Top Fuel?
Now, first of all, Scelzi has still got a little bit of that icing right there. Scelzi takes on Penn State grad Don Lampus in the opening round. Winston Winter Nationals final rematch there with Dixon and Head, and a Memphis first round rematch with Dunn and Mullins. Over on the B side of the ladder, your defending champion Joe Amato meeting for the first time Kristen Powell and Kenny Bernstein, and Big Bud Shootout finalist Doug Coletta right there. Corey Mack made another great run here in '97. Talking about that Big Bud Shootout, Ed McCullough, who's raced in the shootouts with his funny car in the past, tuning Doug Coletta, looking for Rookie of the Year honors. Were it not for that Coughlin kid, Doug Coletta might have been a lock for Rookie of the Year. Pennzoil, Matco Tools, Eddie and Ursi Hill has been running flawlessly all weekend long, fought his way to the championship and a chance to win $100,000 on the Big Bud Shootout. Could he do it? Nope. Coletta gets the win, 4:59 to a 4.62. Great run, and Doug Coletta wins the $100,000 Big Bud Shootout. Tip of the cap to the rookie.
Doug Coletta, certainly the biggest day in his very brief drag racing career. Steve Winkler is down here, the brand manager for Budweiser. Come on in here, Steve. We'll get that hat off, and you can give him the trophy that symbolizes, and the check, $100,000, and an absolutely back-breaking performance. Another 450.
Congratulations. On behalf of Budweiser, we're proud to present you with the 1998 Big Bud Shootout.
Okay. As close to a perfect day as you could ask for.
Yeah, thank you very much, Budweiser, and I know they do a lot for the sport, and we really appreciate all you do, and just happy to come out here and get the beer and get the money and press on for tomorrow. So just like to thank American International and Kitty Hawk that makes it part of getting out here, and Connie Coletta for giving me the opportunity out here.
How dominating was he? 461, 464, and 459 to win it all. If he doubles up, 50 grand in bonus money today here at Pomona. The Winston Finals on TNN is brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. When we come back, funny car qualifying and highlights right here on TNN. Welcome back. A spectacular day for racing. The final day of the 1998 NHRA Winston drag racing season from Pomona Raceway. We mentioned that all Gary Scelzi really had to do was show up to win. Well, it's a little more complicated for John Force. He is your leader and probably going to be your 8-time champ, although it is not mathematically impossible for Ron Capps to run him down. Cruz Pedregon with a big surge here at the end of the year in the number 3 slot. And let's look at the 6 through 10 positions as the guys try to stay in that elite Winston top 10. How about Del Worsham staying right there? He's had a great year in the Checkers, Shucks, Cragen car. Let's take a look at some qualifying. The 2 protagonists or antagonists in the battle for the Winston title. Ron Capps won the opening race of the year right here, the Copenhagen Chevrolet, but struggled during qualifying. John Force, that gold car that he won Indy with. And Force would go 493 in qualifying number 3. Capps at 508 struggled, just stayed in at the number 10 slot. John?
John, a 493, that jumps you up in the qualifying up into the top 3 there.
Well, really critical. We want to watch. You got some bad guys that have struggled down in the bottom, so it's just good to put her up in the top of the show.
The Man Magazine car, Jerry Tolliver on the far side, and the John Costanza car. He was runner-up to Capps at the Winter Nationals. This is a bad hot rod here. 491 for Wilkerson in the number 2 slot. They would love to finish out the season with a win. They are winless on 98, but that's a good old race car. Talk about your bad hot rods. Well, Capps back up again, but it's going to be the Interstate Batteries machine in the near lane that leads this highlight reel. Cruz Pedregon coming into this race 11 times. Number 1 qualifier. Capps out of it. Watch that baby fly. 486, the 12th time. Number 1 and coming into race day. He's the man to beat.
What an effort. To put it on the pole that many times, I just can't say enough. It's just really awesome because these tracks are not the same. Every track's different, has its own characteristics, and be able to adjust a car like that, Wes Cerny, he's the man.
He's the man. Well, right now, Steve Evans is the man.
No, this is the man, John Force. I was at his beautiful shop in Yorba Linda last Monday, and John, you had a team meeting, and you told all your guys, do not start celebrating this championship. It's not over yet. Stay focused.
Well, you know, we just really have to stay focused. It's still in the boundaries of caps to do it, and we know that anything can happen. So you're right, focus and not celebrate and then lose it.
Do you go out and run conservatively the first round to clinch this thing?
Well, you really can against Ron Swearinger and Lance and those guys, because that hot rod knows how to run good. Now we're going to come out, step up to the plate, and try to run a big number. Try to run a low 90 if we can. That's what it's going to take to win here.
Have a safe day.
Thank you.
Okay, he races Dean Scusa round 1. What about the rest of the ladder, Bob?
Some interesting matchups. Your 12-time #1 qualifier against the Mad Magazine guy Tom Hoover in his final race of the season. And Dale Pulte driving that Gene Christensen car against Whit Bazemore. Pulte sub for Bazemore last year and won a race. Over on the B side of the ladder, runner-up at the Winter Nats, Wilkerson against an independent team, the Creasy family. They just keep qualifying. Two great cars with Etchels and Katz. There's that Force Scusa matchup we talked about, and Tony Pedregon, who has been to the finals here the last 2 years against Idaho's independent Mitch McDowell. That's what went on in funny car qualifying. Let's take a look at what else is hot from the finals.
The John Myers benefit auction was held on Friday. Between the silent and live auction, a lot of money was raised for John's widow Carrie and daughter Christina. The big buyer? Who else? John Force paid $40,000 for the Don Prudhomme donated Harley Davidson.
The whole racing community has pulled together as a whole to help us out in John's memory. I'm really overwhelmed with the number of people that have come forward to help us in any way that they could. It's hard to imagine that one person has touched so many lives.
Driver, instructor, and advisor. Now you can add team owner to the Roy Hill resume. That's because he will take over the reins of the Kristen Powell top fuel entry from previous owner Andy Evans. Big Jim Dunn has announced sponsorship for his Kelly McGrath-driven funny car in 1999. Penthouse Magazine will celebrate its 30th anniversary as primary sponsor on their Pontiac Firebird. John Force hosted an open house at his mammoth race shop Thursday night. As you can imagine, there were autographs aplenty, including a tailgate, but it was the Salvation Army's food drive that was really impressive. Those not at Force's could be found at Malibu Speed Zone. Pennzoil hosted the event that featured drivers and race fans going head-to-head. To no one's surprise, Top Eliminator was the hot spot. And finally, the joke was on Bob Fry Friday morning as Jerry Darian and Ed Vicroy presented him his dream car. That's right, you guessed it, a 78 Dodge Aspen. And that's what's hot.
Also of note today, mark this day down on your calendar, November 15th, 1998. That's because this man, Showtime funny car driver Tom Hoover, will drop the curtain on a long and illustrious career, 35 years worth. Tom, are you ready to give it up?
Well, I tell you what, it's been a great career. 35 years is a long time, but I tell you what, I'm happy and I'm sad, but we've had a great time and racing with great people, a lot of fans through the years we've met, great sponsors like Pioneers with us right now. Proud to be with them next year. Bringing Corey Lee into the fold next year. He'll be a great driver, and I keep kidding Corey. If something goes wrong, you get sick or have a headache, maybe Dad will get his helmet up. But right now we're going with this plan, and I think we're going to have a great team next year.
Let's talk about this weekend. You're the number 8 qualified car here. How has the weekend been so far?
Well, pretty good. The track was trickier at Pomona Thursday and Friday, and last night we ran our 505, 298. Car's number 8 qualifier right now, and I tell you what, we all got a chance. We're in the game right now.
With every ending, there has to be a beginning. So as we wrap up the 1998 NHRA Winston season, let's take a look at the schedule for 1999. Hope you have a pen and pad ready, and I hope you can write quickly. The folks from AutoZone, by the way, will be sponsoring the Winter Nationals. Will be in Arizona there in February. Not a whole lot different on the schedule. You can see where the Pro Stock trucks and bikes will be running. Hope you get a chance to see you. Boy, the Route 66 racetrack was great last year. We loved going to Denver. Prolong back to the Northwest Nationals, and a little tip of the cap to the folks from Visionaire. And before you know it, we'll be back here at Pomona wrapping up another great NHRA Winston drag racing season. There were a lot of new things on the agenda for 1998. One of the great new programs that helped a lot of folks is going to be explained right now in detail by Dave Reeve. Give him the details, Dave.
Oh, certainly will, Bob. You know, the drivers weren't the only ones going after points and championships and that sort of thing. There was a thing for mechanics this year, specifically called the Parts America Mechanic of the Year. They've been battling out for points all season long. A selected crew chief from each of the pro teams. What are they battling for? $130,000. Let's find out the winners.
In Top Fuel, Gary Salzi and Team Winston's resurgence, which include a record-tying 6 national event wins, has given Alan Johnson the $25,000 bonus as Top Fuel Mechanic of the Year. Corey Mack also has 6 wins, and that's got his crew chief Mike Green second, 22 points back. In third is Jimmy Prock, thanks to Joe Amato's 4 event wins. $25,000 is also on the line in Funny Car, the only class not settled. Cruz Pedregon tuner Wes Cerny leads with 122 points, thanks to record performance from the Interstate Batteries hot rod. Record performance is what it would take for Austin Coyle to catch Cerny and steal the money. He trails by 18 points. 5 national event wins have Ron Cabb's head wrench Roland Leong a distant third. The rest of the pro classes feature runaway wrenches, as WJ's Mike Stryker has won the $12,500 Pro Stock prize. Larry Kopp's driving and tuning skills in Pro Stock truck have netted him an extra 10 grand, and Byron Hines' tuning prowess in bikes will give him a $7,500 bonus.
Well, who is the big winner? 10 wins, 13 top qualifying efforts, a pair of national event records. That's got Warren Johnson's mechanic, Mike Stryker. Congratulations, sir. You are the Mechanic of the Year. What a year it's been for you guys. Tell me about it.
It's been a real good year. I mean, we started out the year, Warren called me and, you know, let's go to work, and we did, and that's what we wanted to do.
Now, knowing Warren as good as I do, I imagine you guys are going to take that money and probably celebrate, go on a cruise, right?
Well, I don't know. It's probably going to have to be put off a little bit just for the mere fact that we got to get back to work.
Well, let's find out about Warren's plans. I'm sure you're going to take this guy and get back to work. How did you find this guy, especially with Craig leaving last year? You got a good one.
Well, Mike worked for me a number of years ago, and I knew what his qualifications were, and Greg wanted to go do his thing, so I called Mike up, and we came to an agreement, and things started from there.
Well, we got congratulations going out to both of you, the champ and the Parts America Mechanic of the Year, Mike Stryker. Way to go, guys.
Hey, the only way Warren Johnson lets his guy go on a cruise is if there is a cruise that takes like about 4 hours. No more time off for Mike Stryker, but congratulations. Speaking of that team and Warren Johnson, how about this? Warren's 686, 201 mile per hour run. How about he was #1 qualifier for 102 times in his career? What a great year it's been for Warren Johnson. Congratulations. Don't forget, we've got all kinds of great stuff coming up right here on TNN. In fact, next Sunday, you're going to find out who's the best in the NASCAR pits. The Union 76 World Championship Pit Crew Competition. Next Sunday, 1:30 Eastern, right here on the 1998 NHRA Winston Drag Racing Tour. The kid from Bakersfield, Bruce Sarver, into the water area. Here comes round 1. He will take on Doug Herbert in the Snap-on Tools machine. Steve, as we get set to begin the final race of the year, there are so many teams that just would love to wrap up this season with a win like both Sarver and Herbert.
And it's important for a lot of reasons. One is sponsor search or renegotiation. Everybody remembers for about 2.5 months here who won that last race of the year. They may have forgotten who won the second to the last, but not the last. So it is important to really look good here. And TNN is here live virtually and all this. I mean, it's a good time to do good.
What's the racetrack look like, Dave Reef?
Well, the racetrack is always very good here at Pomona. The only concern for the crew chiefs and the drivers are going to be about where this concrete drifts off into the asphalt. The nitro cars seeming to have to back them down a little bit in the middle part of the racetrack to avoid tire smoking. That really shouldn't be too much of a concern here in the early morning conditions where the track and the air are still cool. But as the day goes on, we'll be watching the middle part of that racetrack to make sure those tires don't spin.
Sarver from Atsko and Burris, but still looking for some extra dollars next year. The Snap-on Tools team under the watchful eye of Dick LaHaye. Herbert gets the win at 473 and 298 miles an hour, and he will advance into the next round. Sarver broke right on the starting line one of the very few times this season we've seen a miscue from that car. So Dick LaHaye and Doug Herbert will advance into the next round at 4.73 seconds. Not an awe-inspiring time, but when they look at the win ticket, it will have a W right there. So the always smiling Doug Herbert popping and banging a little bit as they head towards the top end of the track, and you might have seen some oil trailing out of that race car. So it's kind of a good news, bad news situation there, Steve Evans. They got the win, but they got some work.
I'll bet you Bob Fry is the only one that remembers that Doug Herbert was the second driver to run 300 miles an hour after Kenny Bernstein. It happened right here in Pomona at just 31 years of age. What you've accomplished in this sport is amazing, but more amazing, you got through first round.
Hey, that's what we like. I'll tell you what, we just had to go up there with the choice, with the attitude. We're going to go up there and race them, and we just went up there and raced them. And whatever happens, we're going to second round. We're happy about that. I'll tell you what, Dick LaHaye and Snap-on Tools guys are doing a good job.
Great job, Bob.
Thanks.
Congratulations to them. He's just a neat kid. Nice to have them and the Snap-on folks involved with us, and good luck to them the rest of the day. Let's take a look back again at the 1998 racing season. One of the dominant single performances that Team Winston and Gary Scelzi. When you come out and run 326 miles an hour, you know you got a bad hot rod. They averaged 324 for the day. They were breaking their backs all season long. More coming up from Pomona. Welcome back, everybody. We've got more round number one, Top Fuel activity. Here comes the Reebok Kristen Powell machine, now owned and operated by Roy Hill. Getting set to take on Kenny Bernstein and the Budweiser King. Great onboard shot with the TNN folks all season long. Some of the onboard shots we've had have just been simply spectacular. Interesting scenario right here, Steve Evans. We've both known Roy Hill for a while. We have never known him as a Top Fuel owner. That'll be interesting next year.
Wait till he finds out you only get 4 runs on a $5,000 crankshaft. You know, Kenny Bernstein is not happy with his performance this year, or this race, actually. He qualified 10th, and Budweiser has a huge presence here with the Big Bud Shootout, the Clydesdales, a lot of execs. Bernstein would like to, well, them to be proud of him right now.
They've been proud of him for the better part of 20 years. A great sponsorship with Kenny. Of course, he's also got Mac Tools and Prolong and Visionaire and all those great folks. And a very talented crew chief, too, Lee Beard, who has just done marvelous things in the fuel ranks over the year. And let's not forget Louie, a little green critter on the side. Kristen, Kenny, first round here at the finals. Everybody's blowing the tires off. Kenny Bernstein at 572. That's a 572. Gets the win. Kristen Powell, 623. She blew the tires off right on the starting line. You saw that onboard shot on Kenny's car. He was smoking them, but you didn't see the Reebok car. Never really got hitting on all 8, did Kristen Powell. And the first meeting between these two all season long, Kenny Bernstein gets the win. Just like Doug Herbert before him, it wasn't pretty, but it's a win. And Kenny Bernstein staying alive here at Pomona and the Winston Finals, a race that he has won in both Top Fuel and Funny Car during his illustrious career. Steve?
Kenny Bernstein out of the Budweiser King. Louie the Lizard along for the ride for the final time. You'd like to give Louie about a 4:55 ride in the next round. As soon as he can get this hat off, we'll get a quick word with him. They use a D-ring under these helmets, and very snugly fits as it should, and can be difficult to get off, especially when you got gloves on, as Kenny Bernstein did. And Kenny Bernstein, I recognize the look in the eyes. I'm trying, Evans. I'm trying. Don't beat me up here. Come on. Give me a little time. I've done this before. I'm sure I've done this before. Is it? I think it's stuck on. You may have to wear that to bed tonight. Hey, finally. Hey, you got a little lucky there.
Very lucky. Tough tar over there to beat, but Bud King guys did all right. Had to pedal it and hang on for dear life. Louie's ride, he didn't like that one a whole lot. We're going to have to work on it a little bit.
See you around 2.
Thanks,
Bob.
guys.
Hey, he officially broke Doug Coletta's record from yesterday there and taking time to get the helmet off. Imagine you can put together a 6,000 horsepower car. Can't get the little D-ring undone there for the helmet. Corey McClanathan and Eddie Hill. Eddie in the Pennzoil Matco Tools machine went to the finals in the Big Bud Shootout yesterday. Has been running very well of late during qualifying. Has not been able to put together rounds on Sunday. What can you say about Corey Mack in the McDonald's car? Owned by Joe Gibbs, former Super Bowl champion coach. They've had a marvelous year. And for the 4th time in his driving career, Corey Mack finishes number 2 in the points. Eddie and Ursi getting set to go here in the near lane. Again, some great qualifying numbers for Eddie. You're going to see the McDonald's car with a new look in 1999. That's the way we like it. Dead even, 4:59. Corey Mack, your winner at 3:02. Wow, Eddie Hill, 4:63. 312.82 miles an hour. The numbers and the result almost identical to what Eddie Hill saw yesterday in the finals of the shootout. He ran a 62 yesterday and got punched out by a 4:59. What's a guy got to do? Eddie goes 4:63. He goes 3:12, and he goes home in round number 1 as Corey Mack gets the win at 302 miles an hour. Used it up at the top end. Oh, look at that. We got a mess. We got stuff on the track. We got a winner at the far end in Corey McClenathan.
And we have got a hurt motor, the safety safari over here to extinguish some flames. Nothing nearly as bad as Corey experienced during the Big Bud shootout. But this will make you smile, maybe. All right? You ready to smile for a change? 4:59.
Oh, great. Well, we're still hurting it, but we're getting there, and we're putting the wind light on. That's what counts. And we just like to go out on a good note here. That's all.
Bob? My hat is off to Eddie Hill. I mean, you come out and you run 4:62 and 63 back-to-back. You ought to be cashing. But he's not. But a tip of the cap to one of the great drivers in our sport. We'll be back here. The Tenneco Automotive Top Fuel Machine. Joe Amato against Bob Vandergrift. And the Jersey's car. And Dave Reef, this Vandergrift Jersey's team is one of the cars that I talked about at the beginning when I said teams would love to get their first win and finish out this year on a high note.
And it'd be a good way for Rick Castle to depart as crew chief on a good note for Bob Vandergrift, too. But they're coming up against a pretty tough car. We know they can perform here. We've seen it in the past. They're 4:55. Well, that says a lot right there. They have seemingly been struggling a little bit this weekend. They've only had one pass in the 450s, but it's just been little parts failures here and there that has kept the Proc Rocket from going rounds. He's smiling today, though. They're hoping to go all the way to the end.
Vandergrift gave him a shot, but it's too much Jimmy Proc power. Amato, your 96 and 97 Winston Finals champ, wins it at a 4:61. Vandergrift right there at a 4.67. So Amato has advanced. On the starting line, Vandergrift in the Jersey's car, a couple of hun to the good out of the gate. But it's 4:67, 3:14, just not enough to hold off the Tenneco Top Fuel car. Amato wins it by about half a car length. Great job for Joe Amato. He advances to the next round to take on Kenny Bernstein in a monster matchup coming up later on today. And don't forget, we'll have all the final rounds and highlights coming up tonight at 8 o'clock right here on TNN. Let's go to Steve Evans. Hey, his helmet's off this time, Steve. I'm not hanging you out.
Well, in the second round, it's going to be Louie the Lizard and Snoopy head-to-head. Joe Amato, nice 461.
Thank you. As Snoopy would say, here, lizard, lizard. No, we're going to have some fun out here. You know, our first rounds are always tough. Track's a little hotter than yesterday when we ran our 55. And to win some World's Finals, last race of the year, you want to have a good finish. You can have a good winner.
Bob? He's had a good winner the last couple of years. Beat Scelzi last year and beat Scott Coletta back in 1996. Speaking of Gary Scelzi, the hottest guy on the planet, first guy ever to win a Winston championship in his first 2 years in competition. He's going to take on this kid, Don Lampus, out of the IHRA ranks and a Penn State grad. Could be an interesting story right here as he gets set to take on Team Winston. I mean, this Winston Finals in the past has given its winners like Dennis Baca and Jim Bernard, Sherm Gunn, and some really unusual guys that have gone to victory circle. Steve Evans, you think Don Lampus, the Penn State engineers, got something for Gary Scelzi?
I don't know about Scelzi, but he's got something for the sport next season. This is a team out of Dallas, Texas, originally from Southern California. Lampus was an outstanding, serious off-road racer and has decided to take up the straight line asphalt sport, and that is a quality team. Just look at the car and you can tell, hey, he qualified, man. A lot didn't.
Yep. Been a 470 race car. Mike McLaughlin, the crew chief, some very talented guys on that. And like I said, you used to think the biggest thing out of Penn State were linebackers. Well, here's a guy right now that would like to bowl over the Winston champ. Alan Johnson out in front. What a marvelous season it has been for this team. it is not going to be for Don Lampus. And, hey, what can you do when the guy in the other lane is just unrelenting? 456, 320 miles an hour. This car is unbelievable. In 30 years of watching fuel cars run, I don't believe I've ever seen a car as dominant as this. Maybe Prudhomme's Army funny car, but let me tell you, this is one bad hot rod. Lampus left on him, but that was about the last thing that went right for the Penn State grad. 456 for Scelzi, 320 miles an hour. He will meet up with Doug Herbert in round number 2, and right now there just might not be any stopping Team Winston. The capacity crowd here acknowledging the performance by Gary Scelzi, Alan Johnson, and Everett Johnson, the two-time NHRA Winston Top Fuel champion. Just spectacular. So a little shot for history there for Don Lampus, but we look forward to seeing that team on the 1999 NHRA Winston Drag Racing Tour. Scelzi and Herbert will be coming up in round number 2 later on today. Steve, you got to agree with me, huh? This is a bad race car.
Oh, unrelenting, Bob. That was the perfect word. 456. Where were those yesterday for $100,000?
You know, you can't have them all the time, but I'll tell you what, Steve. My smile came out of that helmet. I've been carrying it all day long with me. It's just great. Team Winston's just doing so well. Alan's back on track, and hopefully we'll have a little luck today and we can be here late.
That wasn't good news for the rest of the field.
Nope, it was not. Yes, sir. Bobby Maston there from R.J. Reynolds, and here comes the American International Kitty Hawk machine. This is the car. Not only were they hot in qualifying and yesterday, a lot of folks think this might be the car to beat here today. From the Coletta Racing Stables, Doug is the wheelman. Ed McCullough is the crew chief, and the Exide machine. Exide batteries, Don Schumacher and his kid Tony. David Reese, the key right here for the Schumacher car, they got to keep everything inside the motor if they want to beat Coletta. Going to be a great matchup. Number 14 qualifier, Tony Schumacher, went to the finals down in Texas, but did it at great expense. And Doug Coletta qualified at 457, 458. Just blew him away yesterday. Ed McCullough tells him, hey, kid, we got a chance to double up. If he wins here today, it's an extra $50,000 for the Coletta clan. Little smoke at the top end. Not a good sign for Coletta, but they did that in the opening round yesterday. But he also ran 460 yesterday, 464 here today to beat Schumacher's 4.85. More Top Fuel from Pomona coming up. Steve Evans, more Top Fuel. Larry Dixon and Jim Head right here. Larry Dixon in the Miller Lite MBNA car won the first race of the season, knows how neat it would be to win the last one.
No question, your last run down the racetrack is what you think about all winter long. So, I mean, if you go in, you know, the final round and you're able to win one, it makes the what winter we do have a lot sweeter.
The Miller Lite MBNA team machine. Dale Armstrong calling the shots, owned by Don the Snake Prudhomme. Tip of the cap to the Snake, by the way. You saw that John Myers auction we talked about earlier. Snake donated that Harley Davidson that John Forrest bought for $40,000. So we appreciate both Snake and John Forrest and all the folks that showed up and helped out. Jim Head was actually the points leader earlier in the season. This is a rematch of the final at the first race of 1998. Dixon's going to win it just like he did earlier in the year. 463 for Larry Dixon in the Miller Lite car. 317. Jim Head at 478, 304 miles an hour. So congratulations to Larry Dixon. Let's go down to the starting line and Dave Reeve.
Well, Snake, that's exactly what you wanted to see here with the last race of the season. How important is today?
Well, it's real important, you know, because let's face it, our Miller team's been struggling a little bit this year. And but Dale Armstrong, Bob Brooks, all the guys, Larry's doing a great job driving. So we're real happy so far.
You got that first race this year. How nice would it be to close it out?
You kidding? Be a dream, but we'll see. A lot of tough competition out here.
Moving on to round number 2. Congratulations.
Joe Amano in the second round. Just a champ, and we appreciate all that he and his wife and daughter did for that auction last night. Nice to see the drag racing community out there helping out one of their fallen friends. Let's go to the far end of the racetrack, and a smiling, I'll betcha, Larry Dixon.
Oh, he is smiling, and you know that was a low 460, don't you?
Oh, it was just a great smooth run. I mean, what can I say? Last night we finally got our act together. We got a good run, ran 458 last night. Came back, left it alone. Only this time the rods are in it, so that's a great run. That right there was a points race for us. We were trying to get ahead of him in the points, so it was a big round for us.
A lot going on in this young man's life. He just bought his first home down near San Diego, gets married New Year's Eve, and he'd love to win the Winston Finals.
Even I, not being a technical genius, know that it's good when you keep the rods in them. Final pair of Top Fuel, Terry Mullins and Mike Dunn. Dunn went into Memphis a couple of races ago, the hottest car in the ballpark, #1 qualifier. Mullins was number 16. Mullins blew him away and broke the hearts of the folks in Team Mopar. Been to 4 finals this year and keep getting beat by Gary Selzy. Very interesting run right here, David Reef, because Mike Dunn knows that Terry Mullins can take him out.
Well, certainly, all you got to do is look at the qualifying numbers and figure that out. A 67 on a morning like this, if Terry Mullins can duplicate their qualifying effort, this could be an early round exit for Mike Dunn. If they can duplicate, however, they may be onto something today. They ran their first 320-mile-an-hour pass, so they're definitely getting it tuned in.
Jerry Gwynn and Darrell Gwynn and Team Mopar and their Mac Tools entry. Got a website just like anybody who's anybody nowadays. This car is too good to go the season without a win. Oh, baby. Great run. Dunn just puts his nose in front for the win. 468, 310 miles an hour. Mullins at 473, 309. Terry Mullins almost stole one again from Mike Dunn. Watch this, a slight advantage. Mullins out of the gate. But at the top end, it'll be Mike Dunn and Team Mopar just getting the win. 4.68 seconds. So it's Dunn and Dixon, Selzy and Herbert, Amano and Kenny Bernstein, and Collette and Corey Mack in a rematch of the Big Bud Shootout. That's the way they'll line up in round 2. We got round 1 of Funny Car coming up next from Pomona. Welcome back, everybody, along with Dave Reese, Steve Evans, and a whole host of folks here. I'm Bob Fry. The Funny Car points coming into this race. Force on top, as he's been every year in the 90s except 92. And congratulations again to Whit Bazemore and Team Winston. Nice year, ditto for Chuck Etchells. Let's take a look at the ladder again. Reset it. We showed it to you earlier in the day, but Cruz Pedregon on the top of the pack would take on Jerry Tolliver and the Mad Magazine car. So the #1 versus number 16 car. We'll catch up with that ladder. There you go. Hoover and Anderson. Dale Puldey and Team Winston. And how about Big Al Hoffman? Remember, he ran 480s earlier in the season against the AAA of Southern California car. And on the flip side, some pretty good matchups, including that Forrest Scusa run. John Forrest, if he wins round 1, it's over. If not, hey, Ron Capps could still sneak in and steal this thing. And it would be one of the greatest robberies of all time if Capps wound up winning the championship. Isn't that a great-looking car? That's the independent team. Former federal mogul racers out of Idaho. Mitch McDowell and his dad in the agribusiness up in Idaho, but qualified number 11 right here. They got Tony Pedregon and the Castrol Syntac Ford and cast of thousands in the sponsorship, including the great folks at Tasca Ford. Well, Steve, another chance for a little Cinderella story right here. Mitch McDowell trying to do maybe what Don Lampus couldn't in the fuel dragster category.
I got to tell you, Bob, Mitch McDowell is still on a high. When I told him he ran 303 miles an hour, he almost jumped right through the body of the car. He is just pumped. The 515 was icing on the cake. To say he ran 300, that's a big deal in Idaho.
It's a big deal anywhere. In the Winston Finals last year, Tony Pedregon beat John Force to secure the #2 spot. The year before that, John Force got the win when Tony broke, and of course Force kind of just sputtered on down the racetrack in one of the more anticlimactic races we have seen in recent years. Well, let's see if the kid from Idaho can steal one from the primetime player Tony Pedregon right here. First pair, round 1, Fuel Funny Cars here at the finals. like he was going to put himself out in front and win it, but he wiggled a little bit at the top end, and Mitch McDowell falls to a 5:45. Tony Pedregon's 5:11, but only 2:64. Oh, Mitch McDowell will think about this one all winter long as the one that got away. He was quicker out of the gate by a couple of hundredths. At the 8th mile mark, Mitch McDowell was right there with Tony Pedregon's Castrol Syntac car. But at the top end, this is why they paid John Medlin and the guys the big bucks. Keep that baby lit. Well, at least for 1,100 feet. And Tony Pedregon, your winner, as he goes into round number 2. But it was close, and little tip of the cap to the gang out of Idaho, and hope to see them a lot during the 1999 racing season. Dale Puldey and the Gene Christensen race car. Whit Bazemore and Team Winston will be the matchup. When Whit hurt himself on the motorcycle a couple years back, it was Dale that stepped in and actually won the first. Boy, you can see the guys looking down. It's getting awfully sunny down there. Dave Reef, down in the starting line areas, it's getting sunny and hot. What's that going to do to track conditions?
They will continue to get a little looser as the day goes on, Bob Fry, but the next thing that's going to be interesting here, Tony Pedregon just went down. He's in the middle of a points race as well. He trails Whit Bazemore by just about 42 points. Whit coming up in the very next pair. Just watch Tony go down. He knows he's got to keep pace if he's going to keep his position 5th in the Winston points.
Will be interesting. Just checking, make sure everybody makes the swing down there at the long end of the racetrack. Don't forget, of course, tonight we'll have all the finals, including our championship rounds tonight at 8 o'clock right here on TNN. Let's go down to the far end of the racetrack. And, boy, got to be breathing a sigh of relief there, Steve Evans.
Yeah, a big one. We're talking about the racetrack, Tony. What's your opinion, your appraisal of this 1,320 feet?
Well, it's obviously loose down track. Definitely good to the half track part. And then it started spinning the tires, and it didn't want to recover. So I think once a lot of cars get down it, they're either going to learn it or they're going to have to deal with it. So definitely a little bit loose down track, and it's amazing because it's really not that hot. It's just the way the track conditions are.
Bob? Coming up next, Dale Puldey in the Gene Christensen car. Gene now operates a driving experience school out here. He wants me to come out and try to drive one of those Winston Cup cars. I said, yeah, like, right. That'll happen. But you can and probably had some fun with it, too. And here comes Team Winston and the Chevrolet car. Whit Bazemore, and obviously with that Team Winston sponsorship going away, that's got to be a big disappointment to the guy that made a serious run for the Winston title last year.
The most disappointing thing has been our sponsorship situation. To lose Winston was very disappointing. Then to come so close to signing another major company for a good budget, and to have that go away at the last second, and now being faced with the real possibility of not racing and having this team go away, that's the most frustrating thing.
It's a great-looking car, that Chevrolet. We hope to see that great-looking car on the tour next year. Dale Puldey, now a Harley-Davidson mechanic, used to team up with a guy called Mike Hamby, and they had a Miller Warrior race car that was just a terror years ago, one of the great match race cars in all of drag racing. And someday, I know, we're going to see Mike Hamby out there racing again. But right now, Dale and Gene Christensen and the gang hope to run about 10 races here on the 1999 racing campaign. He has won basically with every race car he's ever been in. And if I'm Whit Bazemore, got to be a little leery of the kid from California over in the other lane. Look at the crowd. Great folks on hand here in Southern California. Told you better watch out for that kid. Dale Puldey gets the win with a spectacular run. Wow, 489, 305 miles an hour. Now that's a California driving experience. Bazemore 505, 302, and he is out of here. Dale Puldey was brilliant out of the gate. They used to call him Mr. Lightning when he was with Mike Hamby and the gang. And this is one bad hot rod. 489 career best. Andy Woods, Toonan, Gene Christensen owns, and Dale Puldey drives, and that's a pretty special run right there. 4.89. So everybody that got Dale Puldey in the office pool How about that as he goes in to round number 2? Great run, and the crowd, well, you know, they go wild. We got more funny cars from the Fairplex on TNN. Don't go away. Runs of the 1998 Winston drag racing season, and Steve Evans, you and I have seen this guy drive for a long while.
Dale Pulley, can you even believe it? A 489?
No, I would have been happy with a 5 flat. It's just, it was funny. I told the guys, so, you know, we're not going to win this with 520 power. We got to step on this thing and take a chance of smoking the tires, and we did. And Gene and Kerry Christensen gave me a really good chance, an opportunity to come out and run it. A bunch of guys got together. Car sat for a year and 2 months. I've sat for a year, and I'm really happy.
Happy doesn't describe it, Bob.
Man, 489. That's right up there with the bigs, let me tell you. Here we go. It is Dean Scusa in the Matco Tools machine. Coming off that disappointment at the Matco Tools race where they didn't qualify after winning it last year. Boy, they could salvage a lot right here by punching out John Force in the Castrol car. Round 1, you're on board there as you look at him, backing him up. That's Dad out in front. This could be a monster run right here. If Force wins this, it's all over. If not, there's a slight chance that Ron Capps in the Copenhagen car could sneak in and grab the 1998 Funny Car Championship. Anybody out there care to bet against John Force? 2 great teams right here in the qualifying. Force with that 493 we saw in the highlights a little while ago. Dean Scusa in the number 14 slot at 526. They really have not hit on all 8 yet here this weekend. They beat Force in the finals at Maple Grove in the Pioneer Keystone Nationals. They'd love to beat him here in round 1. Had a shot just like Mitch McDowell against Force's teammate, but at the top end, little bit too much John Force. 498, 304 miles an hour. And ladies and gentlemen, say hello to your 1998 Winston champion. He has surpassed Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt, who have 7 championships. John Force has 8. He'll run Tony in the next round. And to that, I have 2 words. Who cares? He's your champion. Congratulations to John Force on the starting line. Well, we're going to take a look at some Top Fuel stuff a little bit later on. Let's go over there in the pit area and find out what's cooking in the McDonald's pit area with Dave Reeve.
Well, what's cooking is a brand new bullet. That's because the McDonald's dragster did explode one. Mike Green, you can tell me what caused that.
It looks like from looking at our computer, we had a fuel delivery problem, and we had the same problem on the run before that, and we thought we figured out what was wrong, but obviously we didn't. So now it's a little more obvious to us what the problem is, and we should be able to fix it and make a good, clean run next time.
We hope, we wish you the best in round number 2. And speaking of round number 2, that's where John Force will be going next. The 1998 Winston Funny Car Champion. He's with Steve Evans.
Horrified. And there is the face of the champion. You were horrified.
I tell you what, you see a face of the past come out there. That Dale Pulley I knew from way back runs an 84, and Coyle's yelling, change lanes, change lanes. And I say, God, this ain't time for this. And then Bernie's yelling, no, back in the other lane, because the starting line was edgy. We were afraid of it. And then Coyle says, back to the other lane. And man, I just thought, oh man, don't do this on the last deal, or I'm out of steam. And I got a people, Castro, just the people that put in the money. And Jack Nazareth Ford says, what's a John Force? He don't even know. The new president said, Tasca said he's going to win an 8th. And my God, I'm going to have a heart attack before I get to it. Then I got a Race Junior next door. He's right out the window. And now he starts smoking the tires. I think, God, swearing was going
to be continued.
Everybody that has any idea what he just said, please raise your hand.
I started hazing the tires. I thought,
just what I thought.
Hey, champ, thanks.
Wow. You don't want to wish it against anybody, but it's neat to watch John win just for moments like that. Dale Creasy Jr. on the far side. They call him Peanut. His family has run this independent team since Dale Pulley was match racing back on the Coca-Cola circuit back years ago. And they got a very tough customer. The purple car in the near lane, John Costanza, Institute of Technology, and Tim Wilkerson, the team has done everything but win one of them this year. The Creasy family machine. little help from the good folks at Strange Engineering. Dale Creasy qualified at 5:26. Wilkerson at 4:91. Wilkerson's been number one. He's been in finals. He's been low ET. He's been top speed. What he hasn't been yet is a winner. Red light start for Dale Creasy, and Wilkerson goes on through with a 6:12. Timing is everything in life. 6:12's not going to win a whole lot here in round number one, but it's good enough to win right there for Tim Wilkerson. Dale Creasy smokes the tires and red lights, and he is gone. And there you go, our Winston champion in funny cars for the 8th time. Congratulations to John Force, your Winston funny car champion. Excitement already, and we're just midway through round one of the Fuel Funny Cars. We got Cruz Pedregon, the Interstate Batteries machine. What a great run they have made in the last couple of races to jump up to the number 3 slot in the points. The Interstate Batteries machine, owned by Joe Gibb. On the far side, that Mad Magazine entry. Jerry Tolliver, the wheelman. The DC Comics folks in the Spy versus Spy look. I think the guy that painted that had a pretty good time doing it. Spectacular looking race car. But he's taking on what right now might be the baddest hot rod in the class in Cruz Pedregon. Cruz Pedregon absolutely never moved. And Jerry Tolliver in that Spy versus Spy gig goes 5:29, 270 miles an hour. And Jerry Tolliver with a stunning first round upset. Look at that. Cruz's car belching smoke out of both sides. I mean, it never moved when he hit the throttle. If you're scoring at home, it's a 9:48 for the green machine. And Jerry Tolliver gets the win as Cruz Pedregon, for the 6th time this year, taken out in round number one in Spy versus Spy. Into the second round. Now, that was not only stunning in that the number 16 car got the win, but the fact that Cruz Pedregon's car never really moved off the starting line. That is a very big upset. Also, with another update on Top Fuel getting set for round two, let's go to the pit area again and Dave Reed.
Well, we're down in the Tenneco Dragster pit. Joe Amato taking a look at the guys going to work there with Jimmy Prock. Jimmy, man, you guys are finally getting it right back on track. Where we like to see the Prock rocket.
Yeah, it's coming around. You know, we changed a few things coming into this race, and it was trying to run good all along. We just had a few gremlins, and we're sorting them out, and hopefully we can do good today.
Now you got gremlins and lizards coming up, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. That's right. Kenny, he's tough, but, you know, we'll give it our best shot.
Best of luck. Down to the far end with a number 16 round one winner.
As your boss might say, what, me worry?
If you got to worry about stuff like this, you shouldn't be here, huh? We put it to him. We did it. We got past first round. That's exciting. This is where we started this year. We'd like to end up the year on the top of the field and win a race.
Alfred E. Newman may give you a raise.
He's got that Alfred E. Newman look about him, too, I think. If you're keeping score, nobody from the number 16 qualifying spot has won in funny car all season long. Gary Densham and Al Hoffman coming up right now. Al Hoffman getting set to go. Very good running race car, and he loves running here at Pomona.
You know, he's got some good data from out here. We've run well out here with the 486 in the beginning of the year, and, you know, it's been a good track for us. You know, I love the track, the people and fans and everybody here. You know, it's good for us.
Garrett Ensham was out here early this week for the Career Opportunities Fair, doing a little pit crew challenge for the high school kids from Southern Cal. Good look at the Pontiac Firebird there. GM Performance Parts Pontiac, Jimbo Ermilovich, and Helen Hoffman and the rest of the gang. There you see it out of NEC Communication Solutions and AAA from Southern California. And they've re-upped for next year. And that is good news for us. Greg Amaral, the crew chief, the 4-second, 300-mile-per-hour shooter. And heck, he was one of the very strong runners during the course of the season. Qualified in the number 12 slot. Been to the finals lots, looking for his first ever funny car national championship win. Not an easy draw in Big Al here in the near lane. That NEC AAA car right down Broadway. 507 for Dencham. 294 the speed. The upsets just continue here in round number 1 as Gary Dencham wins it and Hoffman skies to a 798. Like Cruz just never started hitting from the moment he jumped on the throttle. So I'm going to say something that not too many drag racing announcers have ever said. Dale Puldee and Jerry Tolliver have advanced into the next round. Little tip of the cap to Gary Dencham and Greg Armorall because he has too. We got more from the Winston Finals at Pomona on TNN coming up next. Back, Miss Winston, and looks like that Morrow Fisher there. Award-winning camera guy for Diamond P and NHRA today. Alan Reinhart in the car there too. Let's give equal time. And then Force comes over and reaches into Ron Capps and a little congratulations and thanks. And that's what makes NHRA Winston Drag Race just such a great sport. Well, here's Capps now against Chuck Etchels in a monster round 1 matchup for both drivers. On board the Kendall Mama Rosa Pizza Super Winch machine, Chuck Etchels. Capps smokes the tires and Chuck Etchels Chevrolet gets the win at a 5:02 to advance into the next round against Tim Wilkerson. Love those onboard shots, huh? Great job. 12:32 for Ron Capps, and it was kind of anticlimactic at that point because, of course, had already won the championship in a great year for Ron Capps nonetheless. Etchels goes into the second round. He will take on Tim Wilkerson. And we got the next pair, Tom Hoover, coming up against Randy Anderson of the Parts America machine. The winner of this race, by the way, gets Jerry Tolliver in the next round instead of, as most people here in the crowd probably expected, Cruz Pedregon, which will make it very interesting. So a race that once gave us the likes of Gary Bergen and Bobby Rowe and Jake Johnston will now have a second round pairing with Jerry Tolliver, Dale Puldee, Gary Dencham, and the winner of this race all on the same side of the ladder. There's Big Jim Dunn. We'll have Kelly McGrath in that Penthouse-sponsored machine next year. Jim Dunn also had some pretty good times here at this racetrack back in his early years. Involved with one of those nasty fuel holders. A great look at the Mopar Dodge Avenger, the Pioneer car, the veteran, Tom Hoover. Another onboard camera there with Randy Anderson. Let's go down to the far end of the racetrack and Steve Evans.
Well, Ron, the championship has gotten away, but you can always say you were the winningest funny car driver of 1998.
That's pretty awesome just in itself. You got to thank people like Wins Motor Oil, especially Copenhagen and Chevrolet. It's the best Camaro out here, I think. But yeah, it's been a fun year. It really has. People say, "Oh, you're disappointed." We are, and that's a good sign that the team is really disappointed because we know we can do it. But at the same time, hats off to Forrest, man. He's the best.
That is a total professional. Dave Reef, what you got?
Well, I'm down in the pits with Wes Cerny with Cruz Pedregon. You saw his car didn't go. You see the broken piece. Well, when you put the throttle down, the throttle don't go, does it, Wes?
Doesn't work when the throttle bracket's not connected. Unfortunately, there was no throttle.
How much is that piece worth? Let me guess, probably $3 maybe?
75 cents.
Unbelievable, and that's what cost these guys round number 1.
John Fiorita and part of that crew chief with the Pioneer folks and Tom Hoover and Corey Lee, who will be taking over the driving next year, and on the far side, the Parts America Texaco Haviland machine. Randy Anderson, like his sister Shelley, they will be looking for new sponsorship next year. Went to the finals at Indy, would love to win right here in his own backyard. Hey, sports fans, in his final race, Tom Hoover's going to the second round where he will take on Jerry Tolliver. What an interesting pair. 5'10" for Hoover, 271 miles an hour. Wouldn't that be a great story if Hoover came up and won this whole shooting match? Could happen, and of course we'll see the finals this afternoon. More from Pomona in the Winston Finals on TNN. Well, Mark Powick in the Summit car running very well against the Jessel valve train Tommy Martino. As the Alan Johnson in the 13th spot with a Dodge. Jay Coughlin and Ray Franks, a couple of 200-mile-an-hour shooters meet up, and that doesn't happen very often. Mark Osborne's going Chevy truck racing next year. Jim Yates won in the Winter Nationals. Would love to wrap up the season with a win here. KJ's your defending champion. And the kid, Richie Stevens, against Ricky Smith in round one. First pair of pro stockers into the water area. A little bonus coverage right here on TNN. And there is the Summit racing machine of the Cowboy, Mark Powick, out of the number 8 slot. Tom Martino, Jersey boy, over there on the far side of the track. The Jessel valve train machine. The parity in pro stock, unbelievable. Warren's 689 late qualifying. Troy Coughlin 696 was the number 16 qualifier. That shows you how closely matched up they are. Tom Martino over there on the far side of the racetrack tells what it would be like to come in here to Pomona all the way from New Jersey and win this, the last race on the tour.
Every single person in this pit wants to win the World Finals more than anything else. We all say we can't wait for the season to be over. I'm included in that. But a week from now, we'll be jonesing to go back racing. And if you have a win under your belt, you just want to go that much more. And it makes those late hours and those Sundays working a lot easier when you know you beat everybody the last time you were out.
Guarantee it makes that 25-mile ride back to New Jersey a lot more enjoyable, too. Mark Powick right now, very hot. He's been running extremely well, running his own engine program out of the Summit Racing folks. Checked in with the 8th spot. These two cars separated in qualifying by 2 thousandths of a second. Lane choice to Powick and the Summit car. Dead even out of the box. You can throw a blanket over the two of them. They're that close in the wind to Tom Martino. 696 for Tom Martino as the Jersey boy gets the win. 6.98 for Mark Powick. 197 holds off a 196. I mean, these two cars to show you the parity in pro stock. Almost dead even out of the gate at 60 feet at the 8th mile and at the top end of the racetrack. But two go down. Only one comes back, and this time it will be the Jessel valve train. Red and white car by a nose. All right, a big nose. But Tom Martino's going back in to round number 2 here at Pomona and the Winston Finals. You know, it's been a great year in pro stock racing for all the cars in this class, and it's not been a bad year for the Jersey boy, Tom Martino, Steve.
696 in a great drag race.
Oh, man. I looked over. I had more of Mark Powick and that Firebird he had than I could handle.
3 more, and you got it.
We had to stay till Tuesday. We might as well stay all day today.
Stay until Tuesday, of course, for the awards ceremony. There's the split fire machine. Jim Yates, his son Jamie will be riding next year. Yates' only win on the season, the Winter Nationals, right here at Pomona. Taking on the Indy champ, Mike Edwards, and the John Kite Racing Team out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Again, nothing to choose out of the gate. Look at this. Is there a better form of racing than pro stock? 695.4 beats a 696.5. Jim Yates, your first round winner in the Peak Antifreeze Dynamax machine. We got more pro stocks from Pomona coming up next. And 16 of the best pro stockers in all of motorsports. We're starting to narrow that down a little bit. Martino and Yates have advanced. Richie Stevens out of New Orleans getting set to take on Ricky Smith. Ricky took the Vieri Gaines car out and into the third at the end of the track, demolished it in qualifying, bringing out their backup car. Looks an awful lot like that old Mark Powick machine. What do you think? Richie Stevens, number 6 qualifier, and were it not for Jay Coughlin in the year he's had in pro stock, this guy with the Sean Collins team might be the Rookie of the Year. He has had a marvelous season. Sean Collins with a 2-car team and Look forward to more from that gang next year. Richie the Kid Stevens, qualified number 6. He is lightning on the starting line. Ricky Smith ain't too shabby either. Richie Stevens out of the gate first, and he never looked back. 695 for the Kid as he gets the win, and Ricky Smith in a borrowed car skies to a 707, but Stevens will go into round number 2. 695. He runs 198 miles an hour. Still a valiant effort for Ricky Smith and the gang to come back and even show up here on race day. Ray Franks, one of 4 200-mile-an-hour race cars in that Speed Pro Club. On board with Jag, who's another one. He's going to finish number 2 in the Winston Drag Racing Pro Stock Trail this year and got a good chance to win Rookie of the Year. Wonder what he thinks about that.
There's a lot of great new faces out here this year, and you know, we're amongst them right at this point, and you know, I'm sure the Rookie of the Year program is going to go down to the wire, and again, we couldn't be more excited to win that if we could.
Almost a mortal lock that that's going to happen. 7 finals, 4 wins, number 2 in the points. I mean, that's not a bad little resume. One of the very few times you'll see 2 200-mile-an-hour pro stock cars going at it. Nobody but Warren Johnson went over 200 here this weekend. A lot of cars came close, including both of these guys. Jaggy ran 199 and change. Ray Franks, great independent team racer coming up from Ohio. Couple of final rounds to his career. Good team. A little bit out of the groove on the far side and then out of the program. Jay Coughlin, 694, just shy of 199 on board. You see what he's got to do after he slows down from making another winning run. So Jaggy marches on as he has so many times this year. His 6.94 will put him into the next round of competition in Pro Stock. Martino, Jay, Yates, Stevens have all advanced. More round 1 Pro Stock from Pomona coming up right here on TNN. The emotional win for Mike Edwards at Indianapolis. He drives for John Kite, who passed away during the offseason. John's widow, Mary Lou, decided to keep the car on tour, and a wise decision as they win the U.S. Nationals, beating Warren Johnson, and that's going to look good on anybody's resume. Pro Stock action continues. The Pennzoil car of Mike Thomas, already a win this year at the Fram Nationals, taking on Alan Johnson. Hey, this track's been good for Mopars in Pro Stock. The first ever Winston Finals, Ronnie Sox, Plymouth. The second Winston Finals, Mike Fonz, Dodge. Great names out of the past from Mopar. Let's see if Alan Johnson can win one right here. The Dodge boys will be back next year. David Nickens will own and tune and build the race car. Scott Darrow will drive him, but right now, the banner carried by Alan Johnson. Can the Dodge win it right here? No. Mike Thomas, 699, beats a 698. And by the slimmest of margins, Mike Thomas wins it. 198 to speed, 5 thousandths of a second. All that separated the two at the top end of the racetrack, and Mike Thomas wins it. He was 100th quicker out of the gate. You couldn't slide a time ticket between the two of them at the finish line. The Team Amoco Dodge Avenger on the right side of the screen. The Pennzoil machine of Mike Thomas wins. He will meet Jay Coughlin in round 2. This has been a spectacular first round of one of the most competitive classes in all of motorsports. NHRA Pro Stock Racing. Great job. Warren Johnson, the Goodwrench Service Plus machine. Well, I bet you Warren Johnson's looking forward to the offseason when he's going to sit back and take a lot of time off. Yeah, right.
Well, not really. If you stop and relax and think about it too much, they're going to pass you right up. So you just have to keep working.
Warren Johnson with his 4th championship. By the way, we talked about Force winning 8. Don't forget Bob Glidden has won 10 times on the NHRA Winston Tour, and that is a great mark. And a little tip of the cap to Bob Glidden, one of the great racers in NHRA Winston drag racing. Warren Johnson has been top speed 150 times in his career. The aforementioned Bob Glidden is number 2 in that category with 99. That'll show you how tough Warren Johnson is. one. A couple of hunt in the bank off the starting line. You need more than that. 695, 198 for Warren. Troy, 697, 198, and he is out of here. Warren Johnson against the Jersey boy, Tom Martino, in round 2. More Pro Stocks from Pomona coming up. Finals on TNN has been brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. Wow, what a pace for this Pro Stock opening round. Here's the AC Delco machine. That's the Chevrolet of Kurt Johnson. A great season it's been. Looked like he and his dad were going to finish 1 and 2 for a while, but Jeggy stepped up and spoiled that party. Number 3 in qualifying right here. Taking on the boys from New York City, John Nobile, who has quietly had himself a very good season. Larry Morgan Power. Morgan, by the way, will be racing Dodge cars next year. That'll be interesting. And if Kurt Johnson isn't careful right here, John Nobile will take him out. An excellent running Oldsmobile on the far side. KJ getting set on the starting line. A marvelous time of it last year. Won this whole shooting match. Him out of the gate. Nobile all over the racetrack, and this one was KJ right from the beginning, and he goes a brilliant 6.928, 199.64, a great speed, 6.928. Now watch this, as Kurt Johnson had 600ths in the bank out of the starting gate. Then, to add insult to injury, watch the Oldsmobile on the far side. The boys from New York City. This wasn't exactly in the script when they left the East Coast. But then again, neither was Kurt Johnson. So 6.92 seconds, best time of the round. And another brilliant pass for the AC Delco Chevrolet. Final pair, round 1 of Pro Stock. Mark Osborne and George Marnell getting set to come up. And little tip of the cap, by the way, to our Mopar performer here for the 1998 Winston Finals. Who else but John Force, who in, well, maybe not real dramatic fashion, but needed to come in here and win a round, and he did just that. He is our Mopar performer for the Winston Finals, 8-time Winston champ. Here comes Mark Osborne, who will be going truck racing next year with the Tim Freeman team. Wants to spend some more time with his family and his business and his kid. Got a kid that's a great motocross rider. Man, qualified number 2. He started out the year as number 1. Out here, George Marnell in the Tenneco Automotive Machine. He would love to double up with Joe Amato for the Tenneco folks here this weekend. George just continues to qualify well and run well, but you can see cars running 690s at 198 change in Pro Stock, and they'll be packing up right after we go off the air. This is a tough, tough class. George Marnell almost perfect out of the gate. Top end. George Marnell stole that baby. 707 beats Mark Osborne's 699. One of the biggest hole shot wins that we've seen in a while. When you got a 408 light, that's what it'll do for you at the end of the racetrack. Marnell 707, the only 7-second winner of the round, only the second car to run in the 7s in the round. Osborne 699, 198. He is out of here. So what has been a very frustrating season for George Marnell. Look at this. Another great matchup. 4,000th of a second at the quarter-mile mark, and he stayed with it, and the driver won that one for Team Tenneco Automotive, Steve.
The man from Las Vegas rolls the dice, gets a 4.0 light, huge hole shot, and that won it for you.
Oh, great. Well, I'll tell you, that was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, I knew we needed a hole shot to win that one, but we were ready for him. The Tenneco Pontiac's going to the second round.
What do you got for next year?
Same program, basically. They haven't quite told me. We might be a Dynamax car next year, but we're going to be in that Tenneco family.
Well, great job. That's the whole shot of the day award from Steve Evans, Bob Fry.
And just what do you get for winning that? Well, we'll talk about that later. While others, well, they'd like to take 1998 and bottle it, because for them, this year's been just fine. Yes, indeed. It's Pomona, California, and that means one of two things. It's either the Winter Nationals or it's the Winston Finals. Well, it is the running of the 34th annual wrap-up to an NHRA Winston drag racing season. The folks here in Southern California have seen a great day of racing, and to tell you about some of the things that have gone on, let's say hi to Steve Evans.
Hi, everybody. Nowhere in the world do fans love funny cars more than they do right here in Southern California. In many ways, the class was invented here at tracks like Lyons and Orange County. And earlier today, these fans saw their hero, their homeboy, John Force, wrap up his 8th Winston crown with a first-round victory over Dean Scusa.
Totally horrified.
Another homegrown product, that would be Cruz Petragon, qualified #1 with a ripping 4.86-second elapsed time, only to have the throttle linkage fall off in round #1. Now that's a bad break. And finally, today, Tom Hoover from Minnesota ends his 35-year drag racing career. We'll have to wait a while for his retirement speech because the Who's is still in eliminations. Way to go, Tom. Now for the Pro Stock Slant, let's see, Dave Reef would be good.
Oh, I thank you very much, Steve. It's been a pretty typical event so far in Pro Stock, if you can say that. The top 16 cars all in the 6-second range, separated by just 0.09 of a second. Those who didn't make it, Larry Morgan, Bruce Allen, Steve Schmidt. Who is #1? To no one's surprise, Warren Johnson. He's making it boring. Taking on Troy Coughlin in round #1. No problem for the GM Performance car. He rockets on through to round #2. The #2 qualified car was Mark Osborne. He met up with George Marnell. Marnell slaps on the whole shot and says Osborne to the trailer. His final time in Pro Stock. He will focus on Pro Stock Truck next year for James Kessinger. And then there's Tricky Ricky Smith. Or should I make that Flippy Ricky Smith? Up and over in qualifying into the sand trap. He was able to buy a Mark Powick backup car. He did lose, though, in round #1. That's the dirt in Pro Stock, if I could say that, Bob Fry. I'm sure you got some news bits from Top Fuel.
Top Fuel here in Southern California. Some great racing activity, and we're going to take a look at some of the things that have gone on and made some of the news here over the last couple of days. First of all, if you were with us yesterday, you saw the Big Bud Shootout. Little tip of the cap, the 5th rookie to win that deal. $100,000. If Doug Coletta can win today, he'll pocket a $50,000 bonus. Shelly Anderson, watch this, the onboard camera, a wild ride, and it ends a disastrous year for the Parts America team. Wasn't exactly a highlight reel that Kristen Powell will be showing at the holiday family get-together. The Reebok team blew it up. That car is now owned by Roy Hill, and he will campaign it with Kristen at the wheel next year. Advancers in the opening round, Selzy. He would meet Herbert, Larry Dixon, and Mike Dunn, both advanced. They've had very good years. Amato and Bernstein set to match up in round 2, and Coletta, hey, still got a chance to win that $50,000 bonus. All he's got to do is take out Corey Mack. Let's go back and take a look at some of those round 2 matchups. It's the Miller Lite car. Larry Dixon won the Winter Nationals race. Mike Dunn was #1 qualifier at the Winter Nationals. Dunn has done everything but win a race this season. On board with Mike, Team Mopar. Dixon by a nose, 463 to Mike Dunn's 467. Good win here for the California kid.
For the first time in 6 tries, you have defeated Mike Dunn.
He's tough. I mean, he's 4th place in the points, so I mean, that kind of shows what kind of guy he is. Great guy to race. I'm just happy to go to the semifinals here at our home track at Pomona and do something with this Miller car. It's about time.
About as good as it gets. We are on board with Kenny Bernstein, the king of beers, the Budweiser king, the Tenneco Automotive Machine. You're defending Winston Finals champ in the near lane. How about that. Amato smokes him. Kenny Bernstein the win at 469. Let's get an update on the pits and a preview with Dave Reef.
Sure, Corey McLenithan beat Eddie Hill in round number 1, but take a look at this. This is connecting rod soup. That's all that's left of their 459. Sure, a very solid pass, but they've been having problems punching holes out of the blocks. It's a problem they had 2 weeks ago in Houston as well. Take a look at the damage here. One block split right down the middle. In fact, the damage so severe, they've had to bring out the backup McDonald's dragster. It's a proven race car, though. It's got more than 10 wins. Bullets, they're easy to drop in. That's just exactly what they've done now as they get set for round number 2. The plan, stay out of the soup, beat Doug Kalitta.
I believe that looks like a chunky variety soup right there. These guys went at it yesterday in the Big Mud Shootout. Doug K got the win in the 100K. Corey looking to win for the 7th time this year, and that would set a record. Kalitta will not double up. Corey popping and banging to a 476, but it's good enough to get the win and keep his 7-win season hopes alive. The Snap-on Tools machine. Doug Herbert took out Bakersfield's Bruce Sarver back in round number 1 to advance to the semis. Hey, piece of cake. You got to beat Celsi. Look at Doug Herbert. Almost did it. Celsi 466. This car is on fire.
Look at the tires. It was turning the tires at the top end of the racetrack, Gary, and there went the elapsed time.
Yeah, you know what? It left, and it was getting in trouble when it was leaving, and I thought about pedaling it, but it kept moving. So I stayed with it, but boy, I'm going to tell you what, it took its toll on the Goodyears today. But Team Winston Travers Tools is going to the semifinals, and I'm loving it.
I don't know anybody right now that can beat that car. We're going to take a look at some funny car activity coming up. But first, Celsi is going against Dixon. And, hey, the kid's got lane choice. Maybe there's hope for somebody here in Top Fuel to stop the Big Red Machine. Kenny Bernstein will choose lanes against Corey Mack in a very good matchup. As good a Final Four as you're going to see. We'll take a look at that in just a bit. NHRA Today on TNN is brought to you by Mopar. Chrysler Corporation parts. Baby Fly, 323 miles an hour. He left that track as the fastest car in all of drag racing, and they love their 8-time Winston champ. John Force working the crowd as only he can do. Let's take a look at the funny car ladder. Look at this side. You got Tolliver, you got Hoover, Pulte and Densham. You don't have Cruz, Pedregon, Randy Anderson, and a host of others. Tim Wilkerson and Chuck Edgels would meet up, and the teammates Force and Tony Pedregon would slug it out in round number 2. Tom Hoover, the pioneer team machine. And that wild and wacky Jerry Tolliver. Spy versus Spy out of the number 16 spot. Ironically, the last guy to win funny car from the 16th position was Tom Hoover. Both guys a little bit late out of the gate. Tolliver's 509 gets the win. We got to say goodbye to Tom Hoover.
This is Tom Hoover's final time slip after 30 years of drag racing, but it's not one you want to frame.
Of course not. 35. Maybe that's why it looks so bad. Now reaction time is down, whatever. The car probably could have ran right with him when we had a young Corey Lee driving it next year. We're going to look forward to a great year next year and hope to change things around. The car is very competitive. We don't hear a lot of parts, and that's a tribute to our team, so we're happy, and we'll take off from here.
You have been a tremendous credit to this sport.
Well, thank you. The fans out there are tremendous from coast to coast. We love them all, and we've enjoyed racing from all these years. Thank you.
The biggest upset in round number 1, funny car, Dale Pulte over Whit Bazemore. It was his last ride, so it was kind of a shocker there. But the big shock, 489? Where did you guys find that? Heck with that. Can you duplicate it?
I don't know if we can duplicate it. It's getting warmer, and we don't know exactly what to do to change. We haven't run the car in over a year, so it's just going to be a roll of the dice, kind of like first round was, and just see if we can make the best of it. If nothing else, we're having a good time. Not bad for the wild-eyed Southern Californian, enjoying the California racing experience right here at Pomona. He'll face Gary Densham in round number 2.
Yeah, but we certainly hope he doesn't turn left. Gary Densham in the AAA of Southern Cal NEC car in the near lane, and he knows that Gene Christensen-owned Dale Pulte-driven car threw a monster 89 on the board in the opening stanza. Not much of a challenge from Densham. Pulte slowed, I said slowed to a 494, but still a great weekend here in Southern Cal for Pulte.
I'm really impressed. I mean, with the guys we put together with Gene and Kerry Christensen, Kirk Roberts, Andy Woods, Marty, Jim Glenn, everybody, we just pulled people out and said, hey, let's go race this car. And we put it together, and we weren't sure where we were at, so we're just taking kind of rough guesses.
The last couple of years here at this race, on this racetrack, the final was Force against Tony Pedregon. This time it happens in round number 2. Force has already locked up the championship. Tony trying to pick up some points. Force a little sluggish out of the gate. Tony throws a blower belt. Force gets the win at 4.95. Tony with a game effort at 5.08, but couldn't beat the gold car. The John Costanza car may be the best car on tour this year without a win. They went to the finals at the Winter Nationals. Could they duplicate here in the Winston Finals? Chuck Edgels and the Kendall Chevy in the near lane hopes not. He would get his wish on board with Chuck Edgels. Man, he's slow to a 5.38, but still good enough to get the win.
I guess that just goes to show that us drag racers are desperate individuals, because that was probably the stupidest thing that I've ever done in my life. I mean, the rods was out of a half track, and I just kept driving because I didn't see Tim.
He's been such a kick over the last couple of races, let me tell you. He got outbid by Force for that Don Bredone motorcycle the other day. Chuck stopped the bidding at 38 grand, by the way. Force with lane choice in the finals. Chuck with a little score to settle. And on the other half, yes, don't adjust your TV, Jerry Tolliver against Dale Pouldie. Let's go in the pit area and find out what's happening in the Tolliver pits with Dave Reed.
Sure, Jerry Tolliver ran a career best 5.09, but take a look at the expense of block. A couple holes out of the side of it. As you can imagine, a lot of banging, a lot of clanging going on. Crew's working hard. Can you make it for the semis?
We're going to try like heck to make it for second round. The guys are working real hard, as you can see. We kicked 2 rods out. It was a career best 5.09, but don't forget, she blew up at 4.7 on the run, so she was on a real good pass.
Are the parts a problem? You got those?
We got the parts of the trailer. The guys just got to get them on the car.
Well, if you can get it done, that's Dale Pouldie, and suddenly a 4-second player. Are you worried about him?
Well, Dale's tough. I mean, Dale's a good lever. Dale's a good driver. He comes back and cuts 440 lights and runs 490s. Come on, he's going to be tough. Yeah, we're ready for him.
That's all right, though. This team is mad. Remember that.
That's right.
Is it me, or does Tolliver really look like Alfred E. Newman? Hey, coming up next Sunday on TNN, you can find out who's the best in the NASCAR pits. The Union 76 World Championship Pit Crew Competition, starring that kid. Next Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on TNN Motorsports. Let's take another look back at one of the great moments of 1998. Frank Pedregon at Columbus, driving for Big Jim Dunn, would take on Dean Scusa. He would win this. He would go to St. Louis. He would beat Etchels. He would win 2 times in a row on the 1998 Tour.
So you say you like close racing. Well, how close? Couple car lengths? Oh, a few thousandths. And you're talking factory hot rods. Heck, they'll blow your doors off. Second round's coming up right now.
And let's take a look at that ladder going into round number 2 of Pro Stock here at Pomona in the Winston Finals in what is arguably one of the most competitive classes in all of motorsports. WJ sitting there in the catbird seat. Jay Coughlin's been his nemesis all season long. Over there on the flip side, it's Marnell, a 7-0 winner in that opening round, and Jim Yates. KJ takes on the kid, Richie Stevens.
How impressive was George Marnell's round 1 victory over Mark Osborne? Well, if you didn't see it earlier, let me tell you about it. 7:07 beats a 6:99. That's right, you guessed it. He cut down the tree. A very solid 4:08 reaction time. Unfortunately for George Marnell, they're going to have to continue to do that if they want to go rounds today. Why? They burned up their good motor in qualifying. Down on horsepower, though. George knows what the stakes are, and he's ready for it in his second round matchup with Jim Yates.
Not an easy draw when you got the 2-time reigning Winston champ, the Split-Fire Dynamax machine. Only win of the year on this pavement back in January. Marnell, the Tenneco Automotive Pro Stocker, just may steal another one. Yates in a tricky lane, fires, falls back. Marnell, 7:09, gets the win. He's gone to the semifinals, and Steve Evans caught up with him.
They came out of the car saying, "Who won?" I pronounce you
All right.
the winner at a 7:09.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I don't know what to say. It was really a close race. I had no idea who won at the finish line. Jim was ahead at first. I was ahead. Then I wasn't sure who won. It was great, though. I really enjoyed it.
It's official.
Hey, George, you were ahead at the finish line, and it's the only place that counts. Tom Martino, the Jessel Valve Train entry, far lane. Warren, the all-conquering Johnson. The GM Goodwrench Service Plus car here in the near lane. Warren Johnson was out of the gate first. That is not good news for anybody. Least of all, Tommy Martino got a little wacky out there on the racetrack. WJ 696, and he goes to the semis here at Pomona.
I'll tell you, it's treacherous out there. After that oil down by one of those silly cars out there, that thing is treacherous right now. It shook. That's the first time I had a car shaking in the lights.
Warren just loves funny cars.
You ever want to sit down and talk to Warren about fuel cars? No, better yet, don't do that. On board with the Jags guy, just might be the Rookie of the Year this season. The Pennzoil car in the far lane. One out in Chicago. On board. Shifting that baby into high gear. Top end of the race course, it is all Jags. 6.95 seconds as he gets the win and goes into the next round. Kurt Johnson loves this racetrack. The AC Delco Chevrolet here in the near lane. He is going to settle. Well, not settle, but he's going to wind up in the number 3 spot. Taking on the Sean Collins team. The kid, Richie Stevens. Been to the semis 3 times this year. Looking for his first win. To have a chance, he's got to take out KJ. The kid in the tricky lane. The kid into the semifinals. Great win, Stevens. 6.9 seconds as he gets the win and goes in to the semifinals. Let's take a look at the pairings. Going into round number 3. Jay Coughlin with lane choice against Warren Johnson. Not too many guys can ever make that statement. And it'll be the kid, Richie Stevens against George. I can't believe I won Marnell. Looking to get his first final round of the 1998 season. You know, it's been a great year here, 1998. Pro Stocks have given us some of the best action that we have seen. We would like to salute the class of 98. Warren Johnson and Kurt. Been a marvelous season for them. You're not going to find more competitive drag racing activity than you're going to find in NHRA's Pro Stock. We had 7 6-second cars not make the cut here, and these babies run over 200 miles an hour. Everybody here at TNN salutes the 1998 Pro Stock class of 98.
Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond P.
Here's a great offer on 2 of Diamond P's all-new videos. Call 1-800-507-6800 and take your pick of Racing's Great Escapes. It's jam-packed with some of motorsport's most outrageous wrecks, and in every hair racing incident, the driver gets out alive. Or Wheels in the Sky, a gravity-defying collection that'll take you up, up, and sometimes over, as some of drag racing's all-time greats take their machines vertical and beyond. Order either video for $14.99 or save $2 if you order both within the next 30 minutes. It's the perfect gift. Call 1-800-507-6800 and order by credit card or send check or money order to the address on your screen. The clock is ticking on this special offer. Call now.
Welcome back, everybody. Pomona, California, the Winston Finals. Bob Fry with Dave Reef and Steve Evans, and we've got the finals coming up. But first of all, let's take a look at what happened back in round number 3. Semifinals. We'll start out with Pro Stock. The kid, that great lever, Richie Stevens on the far side, and George Marnell trying to 7-0 himself right into the finals. He has not been the quickest car here this weekend. Let's see if he can grab one right here against the kid. Nope, 6.93 for Stevens, a brilliant pass, and he goes into his first ever NHRA championship final round. He would meet either Jay Coughlin or Warren Johnson. No easy task, regardless of which driver wins it. The onboard shot from the Jags car, that's the Oldsmobile. 4 wins already this season. WJ in the other lane. You don't see him. You know why? Jaggy's out in front. Great win, 6.94. The margin of victory, 007. The winner, Jay Coughlin. Let's go to Steve Evans.
There is an endless supply of Jags. There's Jag the third. He's the little guy, 21 months old. There is Jag the first. He's the slightly older guy. And here's the middle one. Jag Jr. going to the Pro Stock Final against another rookie. I'm not sure in history this has happened. 2 rookies in an NHRA Pro Stock Final.
Yeah, I tell you what, not that I can recall of either, but, you know, Richie Stevens and the whole Collins gang, they've been running excellent this weekend, and I think we're going to have a great Pro Stock Final.
He slapped a hole shot on Warren Johnson, looks to do the same to Richie Stevens, and that's where Dave is.
And Steve, I can guarantee you there's an endless supply of ostrich around Sean Collins' ostrich farm out in Virginia, and as long as they've got that, Richie Stevens, Sean Collins are going to be a very potent two-car Pro Stock team. Congratulations, you're heading to your first finals. Got to be excited to race that Jackie Coughlin.
Yeah, I am. I've raced him a number of times this year, and he's gotten the better part of me, but I owe him one or two from this year, and I got Kurt earlier this round, and it's been a good day for us. The team doing a good job, and the car's running great, and we're just making some good runs.
The next generation of Pro Stock, it's all coming up in the Pro Stock final, Bob.
It's going to be fun. Two outstanding teams going at it in the finals. Jay Coughlin against Richie Stevens. Richie hasn't beat anybody from the Coughlin family all season long. He'd love to get on the good side of the ledger in the championship run coming up in just a bit. You know, there's always a lot going on in Hazard County, right down the road. It's down the 10, I believe. For daily help in a race in romance and Roscoe P. Coltrane, don't miss the Dukes of Hazzard, weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on America's Country Home, TNN. Yeah, life's pretty good in Hazard County. Can't be a whole lot better than this. The mountains overlooking the huge crowd here at Pomona. More from the Winston Finals on TNN Motorsports.
The Nitro race car was conceived in California and very slowly spread east. Now, SoCal fans enjoy the door cars, but still to them, there's nothing like the ground pounders and the smell of nitro in the air. Funny car semis are next.
We know that it's Jag and Richie Stevens in the Pro Stock Finals. Let's go back and take a look at the Final Four for the funny cars here at Pomona. And an interesting grouping it was. Dale Puldey and Jerry Tolliver. That's correct. The Man Magazine machine against the Gene Christensen driving experience. This would be some driving experience, and when it comes to smoking them and driving them, Dale Puldey a little bit too much experience for the Man Magazine gang. 6:79, not exactly a time car. It'll show all of his buds at home, but he's going to the finals against either John Force or Chuck Etchels. Boy, looking down track, you see what they face, and look at Force. Didn't go 60 feet, he blows the tires off, and Chuck, looking for his third win on the season, goes to the finals. Let's go to the pit area, and Steve and Dale.
This just doesn't happen anymore. Do you see one matching shirt in this entire pit area of Dale Puldey? Nope. This is the volunteer fire department of funny car racing, and Dale Puldey is not only the driver, you're also the crew chief. I mean, this is not exactly a brand new car or a funded team.
Oh, no. D.A. Santucci ran this car, I think, in 1988 or 1989. It was a match race car. And been through different match race owners and things like that. And Gene bought it a couple years ago, and we started running it a little bit. Then he stopped racing it, and it was parked for about a little over a year. I've been sitting for a year, and they decided they wanted to go out and run in the race car. Carrie Christensen, that's her baby here, so we ran it.
I love it. And if he doesn't smoke the tires in the final, he's got a chance against Chuck Etchels, which is where Dave Reef is.
And Steve, over here, it's a very organized team. Tim and Kim Richards doing a great job on the Kindle car all weekend long. That 495 against John Force in the semifinals, that's huge. You want to set a good tone for the offseason and get 99 started right.
Oh, we sure do. I mean, you know, we started off the year real strong, kind of a little swoon there in the middle, but we'd like to finish the year real strong, and that's a great way to, you know, it makes the winter seem real short.
You got to be careful that upset-minded Puldey, don't you?
Oh, they're great. Puldey's a great racer, you know. We'll just give him what we can give him. That's all we can do. Can't worry about it.
Another 495 would be pretty good in that final.
495 on this track just might win it for Chucky, but he knows that Puldey can flat out drive a race car. Going to be dynamite. Well, Dale hasn't raced a whole lot this year, so they haven't met. They will in the finals here at Pomona.
Top Fuel dragsters. They're long and they're strong, and they definitely got it going on. They run Nitro Man. Top Fuel semifinals coming up next.
When it comes to the Top Fuel class of 1998, we'll remember the domination by Gary Scelzi, the determination by Corey Mack, the challenge of all comers, the upsets of David Grubnick. And while we're talking about Top Fuel, our best wishes to Pat Dakin, who had that wild blow over in Topeka earlier this season. The men and women of Top Fuel Racing for the class of 1998, Top Fuel has been unreal. We are back live at Pomona Raceway, getting set for the finals at the Winston Finals. We got to take a look, first of all, at the Final Four for the final class of 1998 in Top Fuel. And a great matchup. Kenny Bernstein on board the Budweiser King against Corey Mack. They went at it for the finals here in 1994. Kenny punched him out right there. Louis the Lizard and the King trying to take out Corey. Could they do it? Yep. Kenny Bernstein, 4.68. Corey dynamites another motor, and Kenny Bernstein into the finals here in Southern Cal. The other semifinal matchup, Larry Dixon, who won the season opener, the latest, thrown to the Wolves of Team Winston. Dixon gave him a run with a 469, but Celsi's 460. I don't know what it's going to take to beat this team. Steve?
About midway through the season, team owner Alan Johnson said, we're not winning and we're not having any fun. Turn the stereo up. Well, they're still rocking and rolling, and Gary Selzy hasn't stopped winning since they cranked up the volume. But you got to think a little bit about a year ago when you threw this away in the final round.
Yeah, you know, Steve, we smoked the tires against the Motto, but you know, we got the championship sewed up. We're looking good, and Team Winston's going to get after it in the final.
And win or lose, there's going to be a party here tonight.
I promise you that. The van's already loaded.
Dave Reed.
Steve, when Kenny Bernstein came to Pomona, they had two very big goals that they wanted to get accomplished. First of all, leapfrog Mike Dunn and gain the 4th spot in the Winston Top Fuel Points. You're able to do that, but now it's Big Red. Can you punch him out in the final?
Well, it'll be tough. That team over there is awfully good right now. Hopefully we can. The Bud King can do it if we get everything right. We want to do it for Karen Hochschlag, our Bud rep, and for Momo in Florida right now. That's what we want to do.
What kind of numbers are you going to take?
Oh, you'll have to run at least a 50, somewhere in the 50s to do it, and hope he doesn't pull off the 54.
The sun may be giving the racers back the racetrack. It'll be a bit cooler. May take a high 50. Selzy, Bernstein, Gary up on Kenny. Hey, join the club, Kenny. Selzy's up on everybody here this year. The racing season is indeed coming to a close, and that means lots of breaking news in the world of motorsports. Get all the up-to-the-minute highlights, interviews, and more on Race Day. It's coming your way every Sunday morning at 11 Eastern, right here on TNN Motorsports. Gary Selzy and Team Winston have virtually done it all this year, including setting a brand new ET record. This was in Texas just a couple of weeks ago. With his high beams on, Selzy 452 to blow away the old record.
Nowhere do the Pro Stock bikes draw louder cheers than in Southern California, because almost nowhere will you find more sport bikes on the road. Win on Sunday, sell on Monday really works here. The High Revin Pro Bike Final is next.
High Revin is the case indeed. And you look down there, you see the familiar figure of Matt Hines somewhere in that mass of humanity on the far side. And Ron Ayers, the Mac Tools bike. Look at this. He took out Paul Gast. Angel fouled out against him. Antron Brown next, down at the hands of the Mac Tools rider. On the other side, another dominating performance by Matt Hines. Hey, he beat Ron Ayers' kid in the first round. Ron's not going to like that. Took out the Oregon runner in the second round, and here he is in this championship matchup after taking out Tony Mullen. Oh, what a great look it is right here on the starting line. What are things like outside there, Dave Reef, as we get set for all the finals?
Cooling down. It's going to be some really rip-roaring performances going on here, especially when we get to the nitro cars. Ron Ayers has had an absolutely wonderful day. He has won 3 times as many rounds as he has all year. He came in with only 1 round win, but now he has 4. But you can't bet against Matt Hines. If you go back to his round record for the year, 46-4. He wins 92% of the time. I'm going with the law of averages on this one, Steve.
I just hope it's a green light start in both lanes. Whenever there's an opponent against Matt Hines, they tend to try to push the tree and don't give themselves a chance to win. Let's just hope it's green for the very last round of Pro Stock Bike in 1998.
On his way to the finals and the win at Indy, Matt Hines beat Ron Ayers in the second round. Ron Ayers' last win back in '93 at Houston, he beat Lance Boyer. There's your green light, Steve. Oh, Ron Ayers gave him a good run, but Matt Hines, 732, too much for Ron's 739. 184 beats a 180, a great final round, and Ron Ayers and the Mac Tools bike comes up just a little bit short But then, hey, a lot of folks have come up short this year against Matt Hines and the Eagle One. Vance and Hines bike, his first win since the Indy Championship. And he punctuates a marvelous 1998 season with a win here in front of the crowd at Pomona. 732, 184 miles an hour. It's been a storybook year for that guy, Steve Evans.
And accepting congratulations in my very own little victory circle down here, Cliff Pinnell from SME Sports Marketing Enterprises and arm of RJR with the trophy. And the season ends the way you and your dad wanted it to.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. You know, Ron Ayers is a great competitor, and he's running one of our engines this weekend. And it's just it's nice to get one of these. It's been a long time. Indy was the last one.
We congratulate you. We salute you, Winston champion.
Again, and it's probably not the last time you'll see him atop the leaderboard. Nice job for Team Winston and Angel this season. The Minnesota guys, Smith and Underdahl, had good years. David Schultz and the Sunoco bike, well, he's one of the guys we'd like to forget. 1998. Mullen, Brown, all rookies this year. Congratulations to them. Pro Stock car final. It's another rookie. It's Richie Stevens against the rookie, Jay Coughlin. Steve Evans, I went back and I checked. The last time two rookies met in the Pro Stock final was Ronnie Sox and Arlen Vanke. You think that's about the last time it happened?
That was about 1886, I think, right after the Civil War. This is going to be a great final. It would be really something to have a 20-year-old kid. He just turned 20 a month ago, Richie Stevens, win his first NHRA national event. I mean, share the wealth, Jackie. Come on, you've already won 4.
Oh, exactly, Steve Evans. Jake Coughlin with 3 wins on the year has had his share. In fact, he has 3 wins against Richie Stevens. You're looking at the next generation of Pro Stock drivers here. Jaggy's had his season. He's probably going to be the Rookie of the Year, announced at the awards banquet coming up in just a couple of days. If there's a God somewhere, I sure hope he's smiling down on Richie Stevens. That team's worked hard all year. They deserve a win here today.
It's like one of the more bucolic settings in racing. Sunset in Southern California and finals here at Pomona. Out of the groove, and how about that kid from Louisiana, Richie Stevens at 6.94 seconds. Your Winston Finals champion, 198 to speed. Jaggy was 100th quicker out of the gate. He was out in front for a while, but then he started to get out of the groove. And the Sean Collins racing team waits till the final race of 1998 to put their blue Pontiac into the winner's circle. Richie Stevens, look at that for Jay Coughlin, gets out of the groove from the far end. Now watch the yellow car in the near lane. Shortest distance between 2 points, a straight line. I said a straight line, Jaggy. And in a quarter mile, you make one mistake, you are out of here. The kid gets the win and the 1998 Winston Finals championship. Back on the line, the crowd goes wild. Steve?
And Miss Winston, Jackie Beck, has already hung the medallion around this young man. How heavy is that? How does that feel?
It feels great. I don't care how heavy it is. I'd carry it anyway. It finally feels good to be in hold one of these and stand on here with y'all, and this is great. The team has done a good job all year. Tommy Utt, the crew chief, and Jay and Mike and Josh Darwin, my dad, Sean and Mary Collins, everybody, my girlfriend Carrie, my mom, my sister. This has been one good year, and this is a good way to end it for us.
We're happy for you. The Raging Cajun in Pro Stock, maybe the star of the future, Bob.
Oh, that's so neat. You said that after watching Jaggy win last year, Steve. You were right on. Congrats to Warren, who wins it all. Mark Osborne in the top 5. Let's see the rest of the top 10 in a dynamite Pro Stock race this season. Mark Powell, the Cowboy. Look at Richie Stevens, first year top 10 finish. Way to go, gang. We got the fuel cars coming up. It's going to be the Funny Car Finals. When we come back, Ken Pulte complete a storybook weekend here at Pomona. We salute the Funny Car class of 1998. You got to start with the champ, John Force, and the challenger, Ron Capps, and Chuck Etchells. The Pedregon boys in Whit Bazemore. It has indeed been a tremendous season. A lot of different folks visited the winner's circle, and a lot wish they had. Congratulations to the 300-mile-an-hour, 4-second drivers in the Funny Car class of 98. Finals coming up. Chuck Etchell, Chevrolet against Dale Poldy over there. Dave Reed, what do you think about this championship run?
Well, Bob, I'd love to tell you what I think, but yesterday Shelly Anderson kicked me and Steve around so bad. I've got an ace in the hole for this one. It's Whit Bazemore. You tell me what you think.
Well, I don't know. You know, this is going to be such a great race. On one hand, we have Chuck Etchells and Tim Richards. All that experience. They're a top 5 NHRA Winston car. On the other hand, we have Dale Poldy, who ran a 4.89 against me. I saw that firsthand. Poldy should be rusty, but he isn't. It's going to be a close race. I say it's a dead heat.
You pick it, Steve. I dog dare you.
I'll tell you one thing, it's a very partisan crowd. I think everybody in the grandstands, either knows or is related to somebody who got that car ready for the final round. Just unbelievable. It's a pick 'em deal as far as I'm concerned. I just hope they both hook up to the racetrack.
Nobody hooked up to the racetrack on the starting line. Chucky on again, off again, gets back into it, gets the win at 5:11. And Chuck Etchells, the Fuel Funny Car winner, and Dale Poldy, as soon as he hits the throttle, didn't go 60 feet. And so much for that. Rosa Pizza Car is your Winston Finals champion. Great job here today by Chuck Etchell, Steve.
And I think Tim Richards, the general, his crew chief, went up there saying, don't smoke the tires. Let's get your hat off if we can, Chuck. Chuck going around to shut up the computer or do something here. What a warrior this guy is. He almost burned it to the ground in the semifinals, or the second round, rather. Came back in the semifinals with a stout 4-second run. And here, just exactly what the doctor ordered was a very nice and a very safe 5:11. Anybody in there?
Broke my fingernail.
Chuck, he broke his fingernail trying to get the strap out of the D-ring. Here he comes. I'm going to grease those things up next year. Chucky, great job, buddy.
I'll tell you, I'm ecstatic. What a way to finish the year. You know, I got to go through. It's been so long since I've been here, but...
Cliff, give him that trophy.
There you go, Chuck. Man, way to go.
Thanks, Cliff. And I'll tell you, every one of my sponsors, Kendall, Superwinch, Mama Rosa, Mighty Auto Parts, Snap-on, Chevrolet, we wouldn't be here without them. And it's a great feeling. And Tim and Kim Richards and the whole team are great. And Winston's great for this. And it's number 13. I hope I don't get stuck with it too long.
Continue the celebration, gentlemen. Top fuel on deck.
Finish up the season.
He wanted to finish out the show. Fourth, the winner again, Ron Capps and Chuck Etchell from a number 4 finish. That is a beautiful sunset in the back. We want to thank who's ever responsible for that. Rounding out the top 10, there's Tony Pedregon. Dale Worsham in the top 10, and always nice to see Big Al Hoffman out there running and winning. And a tip of the cap to Tim Wilkerson's gang, too, for a marvelous season that they had. Team Winston could set a record here by winning their 7th race of the season. Nobody's ever done it before. A lot of guys have 6. Garland, Gwynn, Ormsby, Amato, Hill, Coletta, Corey. That's a pretty good company. But nobody's won 7. Steve, you and I have watched fuel cars for a long while, and I can't remember ever seeing a car dominate like we have seen Team Winston, especially since Indianapolis on.
I completely agree, but one thing we have seen today is a different racing philosophy from Kenny Bernstein and Lee Beard. Instead of trying to rotate the earth on every run, they said, let's go out and go some rounds. Maybe we'll get some breaks. But that strategy has to stop right now. As Kenny said to Dave Reef, it's going to take a 50.
Steve, that's definitely in the cards for both of these crew chiefs. The key here, though, is going to be keeping these Goodyear slicks glued to the racetrack. We saw a little bit of that from Dale Poldy and Chuck Etchells, who had to pedal. A pedal fest is certainly a possibility. If not, both these cars should hook up and get that nice side-by-side 450 race. I'm not going to pick a winner, though. Absolutely not.
sensational run and a great win for Kenny Bernstein and the Budweiser King. 4.62 seconds, 320 miles an hour. He was brilliant on the line. 4:11 reaction time. In Top Fuel, that's awesome. That ain't bad in super gas. 465 Celsius, 301 miles an hour. And Kenny Bernstein gets his 22nd Top Fuel win. Look at the flash bulbs. Looks like Mark McGuire coming to the plate. Sells a little bit out of the groove at the top end of the racetrack, and that's all that Louis the Lizard and the King of Speed need as they win it by a car length. On board with Kenny Bernstein. What a shot that is. Oh, that is spectacular. Steve?
I guarantee you, Kenny Bernstein, this whole crew just wanted a piece of Gary Scelzi. Nothing personal, just a piece of Scelzi, and you got a great big one.
We needed a piece of him. He's been a wonderful team. I can't say enough of that Winston group over there. They're great champions, and that's what it's all about. This one for Budweiser, Prolong, Mac Tools, Visionaire, Borla, Mr. Gasket, Karen Hochschlag. My girl's been with us 10 years. We love it. It's for her.
We love her as well. Kenny Bernstein, the Winston Finals champion. Let the parties begin.
Way to close out the season.
Scelzi, congrats for winning. Corey came in second. Kenny Bernstein, look at that, finishes fourth. Mike Dunn with a great year in Team Mopar. Did everything but win one of these things. The top 10 in Top Fuel is rounded out by Bakersfield's own Bruce Sarver. Our Mopar high performer at the Winston Finals. How about that kid, Richie Stevens? First year in Pro Stock, final race. He wins his first ever in the NHRA competition. We got more coming up from the Fairplex here on TNN Motorsports.